minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest there?
We'll take.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian forces, European forces?
The agreement will protect them.
U.S. forces?
Agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement.
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots? Some people may wonder why.
They ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions.
Why you have confidence that Putin won't violate a deal?
Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive.
Remember when Trump called Kaitlan Collins nasty on live TV instead of answering her question about ignoring a federal subpoena? It wasn't just another Trump tantrum. It was his whole strategy unfolding right in front of us. See, Trump has this little playbook he uses whenever accountability comes knocking. Step 1, insult the female reporter. Step 2, avoid the actual question. But what happened next with those FTC commissioners he fired? That's where this circus really gets wild. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Ever notice how Trump turns into a 5-year-old whenever a woman asks him a tough question? Let's roll the tape. During that CNN town hall, the moment Kaitlan Collins brought up those classified documents, his face transformed faster than a chameleon in a rainbow factory. Orange to red in 0.2 seconds flat.
The president fired last night 2 members of the FTC, the Democratic members of that. It raised questions about whether or not he does respect the independence of the Fed, or he thinks that they are fair game as well. What is the president's view on that?
I think that's been resolved in the previous administration. You can go back and find a clip where I talked about it right in the space. We very much respect the independence of the Fed, and there's a massive literature that independent central banks perform better for economies, and so I don't think that's a...
So he doesn't think he can fire the Fed chair?
What's really fascinating is watching Trump with male interviewers versus female journalists. With guys like Sean Hannity, he's all cozy and relaxed, practically cuddling up to them with his beautiful questions compliments. But throw a woman like Collins or Savannah Guthrie into the mix. Suddenly it's nasty woman this and nasty question that. Our former president has the emotional intelligence of a toddler who just had his juice box taken away. Collins hit him with that bombshell about ignoring a federal subpoena, and what did Trump do? Everything except actually answer the question. He danced around it like he was auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. Pointing fingers, changing subjects, playing the victim. Classic Trump move. When you can't beat the facts, beat around the bush. The cherry on top of this hypocrisy sundae.
I think he'd like to see something happen. I think it could have happened a long time ago. I think Biden, number one, it shouldn't have started, but it did. And now all those cities are knocked down. A lot of soldiers, but you lost millions of people. When they knocked down those cities and they're all laying down on the side, they're lying down just in ashes and all crumbled up concrete. And this should have been done by Biden years ago. This should have never been allowed to happen. I know he's a friend of yours.
Just withdraw his...
He's a friend of CNN. That's why nobody watches CNN anymore, because they have no credibility.
Trump's old tweets criticizing people who didn't respond to subpoenas. Remember when he tweeted that not complying with congressional subpoenas was treason? But when it's his turn to hand over documents, suddenly subpoenas are just gentle suggestions you can ignore, like those terms and conditions we all scroll past. That nasty insult deserves its own analysis. Have you noticed he reserves this particular word almost exclusively for women who challenge him? It's his security blanket insult when a woman corners him with facts. Elizabeth Warren? Nasty. Hillary Clinton? Nasty. Kamala Harris? You guessed it. Nasty. It's like his brain short circuits, and that's the only adjective left in the vocabulary bank. The real comedy gold was watching the progression of his meltdown as Collins fact-checked him in real time. Every time she corrected his lies about those classified documents, you could almost see the steam coming out of his ears.
A lot of years, centuries and centuries, it just keeps going. And we are making a lot of progress, so that's all I can report. But
you said that your national security advisor learned a lesson after a reporter...
Excuse me, I didn't make you... Go ahead, please. Some very, very big talks are going and detailed talks are going on right now on both fronts.
"I had every right to have those documents," he insisted, while Collins calmly pointed out that no sir, that's not how federal records laws work. This isn't just bad manners or poor impulse control, it's a calculated strategy. When Trump can't handle tough questions, he attacks the questioner to avoid answering. It's deflection 101, and he's been teaching the masterclass for years. That deflection strategy we just saw, it's only the appetizer in Trump's accountability avoidance buffet. When insults don't work, Trump's accountability allergy triggers a much more dangerous immune response. He goes straight for the career-killing jugular. Just days after his CNN meltdown with Collins, Trump did something far worse than calling a reporter nasty. He fired 2 Democratic FTC commissioners, Rohit Chopra and Rebecca Kelly Slaughter, who were actively investigating his tech CEO buddies. Talk about suspicious timing. It's like getting caught with your hand in the cookie jar and responding by burning down the kitchen.
It's typical when you're reporting at the White House to run into West Wing officials, Republican lawmakers, cabinet secretaries as they're making their way to and from meetings. This was coming about 24 hours after President Trump had summarily fired both of the Democratic commissioners who serve on the Federal Trade Commission, which they argued was an illegal move by the president.
The time was right to let these people go, and the president absolutely has the authority to do it. And they were given ample notice in a letter that I believe your outlet reported on. So it pretty much explains exactly why this administration chose to let those individuals go.
These weren't just any investigations. The commissioners were looking into antitrust violations by tech giants whose CEOs had coincidentally written some very large checks to Trump's campaign. And Trump, being the subtle guy he is, decided the best response was to just get rid of the people asking questions. Problem solved. Here's the kicker. What Trump did wasn't just petty, it was unprecedented. For over 90 years, presidents from both parties respected the independence of the FTC. Not a single commissioner had ever been fired without cause, until Trump came along and said, "Hold my Diet Coke." The hypocrisy meter explodes when you see Trump's old tweets. Back in 2017, he ranted, "Anyone who fires investigators looking into their wrongdoing is obstructing justice." Well, if it isn't the consequences of his own words. When Obama merely criticized Fox News, Trump tweeted it was an attack on democracy. But Trump firing actual federal investigators, that's just Tuesday in Trump world. This is where the evolution of Donnie Diapers' strategy becomes crystal clear. Step 1. Call someone mean names when they ask tough questions. Step 2. If they keep asking anyway, fire them. Step 3. Claim you're the victim. It's like watching a toddler graduate from throwing toys to burning down the daycare. What makes female journalists like Collins particularly threatening to Trump isn't just their questions, it's their refusal to back down when he tries his intimidation tactics. Notice how his meltdown escalated precisely when Collins calmly continued fact-checking him instead of retreating. Women who stand their ground represent everything Trump fears. Accountability he can't escape with his usual bullying. When Collins pressed him on the classified documents, she wasn't just asking a question, she was holding up a mirror to his actions. And nothing makes our orange friend angrier than having to look at his own reflection. So folks, here's the bottom line. Our pal Donnie isn't just throwing tantrums because he lost his favorite toy. This is a guy with a genuine accountability allergy. His kryptonite isn't some green rock. It's anyone bold enough to demand answers, particularly women who refuse to bat their eyelashes and accept his word salad. When you see him labeling another journalist nasty or suddenly axing officials investigating his buddies, recognize the pattern. It's his ultimate escape hatch from responsibility, his true superpower. And honestly, that should terrify you more than any boogeyman. A leader who thinks rules apply to everyone but himself? Yikes.